Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Robert, The Ugly Truth 2023. Just wanted to come at you. I was thinking a lot lately. I watched Game of Thrones. As I told you many times, I'm a movie buff. And I just been thinking to myself, medieval times, clear back kings and queens and pharaohs and all of that, where you had the king, the ruler, who controlled, their kingdom, in reality, the kingdom. And you had all of the peasants who paid for everything for them, basically. They worked, they slaved, they did everything for these people. And I'm starting to learn that never changed throughout history. In 1776, they created the American flag, and then shortly after, in the 1800s, they created, 1890, they created the Senate and the Congress, who they created it for the American people. That was for us, so our voices could be heard, and that they had our best interest at heart. Well, I can't help but to think that they, being the presidency, the Congress, the Senate, have turned into the kings and queens. And we are the peasants. We pay taxes so that way they can live in lavish houses, mansions. Most everybody in Congress are millionaires, and they only make $170,000 a year, which is kind of interesting. Like I said, Nancy Pelosi is worth $500 and some million. Barack Obama just bought Martha's Vineyard cash, 50 some million, 500 million, something like that. And if they have an issue with their tax returns, it's perfectly fine. They just, write it off or whatever. They are able to get away with anything when it comes to their taxes. But if you misplace $6 on your taxes, they are auditing you. They are going up your rear end with a fine-tooth comb to get that money back. And the reason for that is because their lifestyle depends on us to pay our taxes so they can live the lifestyle that they want to. The government depends on the peasants to keep them in the money. And it's the same with movie stars. We go as peasants to watch their movies so that way they can continue to be millionaires and billionaires. We are the peasants providing for them. And if we do try to make our voices heard, like here recently, we didn't agree with the 2020 election. People are getting arrested and thrown in jail and saying that we don't have freedom of speech anymore. They're taking it away because we had a voice. When we went to the Capitol on January 6th to try to make our voices heard, people were arrested, put in jail, prison without due process, and are still rotting there today. According to the Constitution that they created for us, it says if there is a tyrannical government, the American people are supposed to overthrow that government and reset it so that way it's for the American people again. So I can't help but to think in my head, what has changed from medieval times to today? The peasants are still paying for the government to live the lavish lifestyle, to have millions of dollars, to have inside information on trading and stocks. They literally say they're for the American people, but they're not. They're getting rich from us being peasants, paying for them. And I don't think that that's the way it was intended to ever be. The American people are getting crapped on. Well, our kings and queens are sending all of our money to other countries. They're laundering it back so that way they can continue their lavish lifestyle to be rich. they have no inkling on helping any of the American people. Look at the Maui fires. They want to give everybody in Maui $700 as a one-time payment. These people lost everything. Their houses, some of their children burned up in their beds. They just, $700 is an absolute insult to these people. And then they only get that if Joe Biden gets $20 billion to send to Ukraine. So it can be laundered back right into their pockets, and they can continue to get rich off of us peasants. So I couldn't help but to think about that. But I mean, if you look it up, literally look at any movie where there's kings and queens and all that stuff. It's the same. Nothing has changed over the course of all these years. The peasants are still paying for the kings and queens to run our lives, and we're allowing it. I think we need to figure something out on how to get that changed. So yeah, stay vigilant, pay attention out there, and that's the ugly truth.